less about finding leaders, more about growing leaders. So trying to just align everybody on the kind of the core values or core concepts that we're going to be focused on, that we think produces authentic leadership and sustainable leadership. It's an action-based culture. And so, and we have plenty of capable people that way. I think it's, for me, the distinction is that we're trying to train them at every turn to be the competitor that we need for them to be in this program now, and to not rely on, anything necessarily from their past to inform, their behavior in the competitive environment, here in the present. And as far as progress, I mean, I feel like, every day is a glimpse into, another layer of this team, right? So today was practice 12, coming out of the scrimmage Friday night, which I think there was a lot of excitement within the program around. And you got a chance to see how guys respond to that. This is about sustained effort, sustained focus. And that today was a test. And, we had glimpses of really good response, and then glimpses of being kind of like everybody else. And so we have to keep training this team. And so as far as progress, I think it's just a matter of understanding that we will forever be a work in progress and never quite feel like we have what we need, always pushing that needle forward to strengthen the team.
Michael, you're up next.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you, again, Michael Bratton from Saturday Down South. I wanted to ask you about recruiting, and I know you can't get into any specifics, but, a lot of speculation that on June 1st, things going to be opening up and programs can host recruits for official and I assume unofficial visits. So I'm just wondering, is that something you're already considering and you're already kind of working behind the scenes? What's the strategy there? Would you like to have guys on campus immediately to get to know you and your staff, or do you want to try to hold those official visits for the fall season, or is it just a case by case basis?
Well, it is case by case, but just on the whole, like we're really excited to get the doors opened up. And, obviously there's still some things that need to be worked through that way. But for us, I mean, you haven't experienced Vanderbilt until you've been at Vanderbilt, until you've been at the heart of this city on our campus. It's an aspect of this institution that makes it unique, that makes this program unique. I also think the personalities within our football program will distinguish us in recruiting. And so you can get a sense of that through Zoom, or a sense of that through FaceTime, or, virtual visit. But this is an area that I think we'll be able to really draw lines of distinction when people are on our campus, in our city, and around our people. And those are things I can't wait. I can't wait for that to become a reality.
Thanks, Coach.
Gentry.
Yeah. Hey, Clark. With the expectations you've kind of stated for this program, I'm curious from what you've seen this spring, how far away you are from that, and has it been difficult to manage a sense of patience in the process of trying to educate this program on where you want it to go?
Well, the goal every year is going to be to push each team to its potential. And so the beauty in that is that you don't have to, like, we don't prognosticate here. We don't try to predict necessarily what, how many games we're going to win, or how far we're going to go in the playoffs, or whatever that may be. We're simply just like so moment by moment focused, and always like finding ways to push into the margins and improve our team. And so, I think that what I want to see is a team that has a connection to an identity. There's always going to be a plan to win here, and so we're not going to turn every aspect of this program into the finished product overnight, but we can find our strengths and we can have awareness of our weaknesses, and we can structure, our strategies, our tactical strategies on offense and defense to maximize those strengths and hopefully either hide or, through our training, strengthen our weaknesses. And so that identity is crystallizing in my mind, and I'm getting more in touch with, what that winning formula will look like for us this fall. And there again, it's day to day, right? I mean, some days I feel like we show signs of real progress. Other days, we're fighting through the wall. There are other battles we're fighting, so once we start really honing in on reaching towards that identity every day, I think we're on the right path. And, we'll use every moment we have from now until really till the finish of the season to grow into that identity, to give us the best chance to reach our potential as a team. And that'll be how we reset this thing year in, year out.
What's your vision for the format for Saturday, and what do you kind of most want to see from I guess you'd call it a scrimmage, but it's a little more game like?
Yeah, we'll be offense first, defense. We don't quite have the depth to field two teams, so that'll make it feel a little more scrimmage like. We've kind of messed with and honed a system for keeping score for both sides of the ball, so that should add a competitive element to it, which is exciting. And we'll try to play it out just like a game and maybe run the clock a little bit in the second half. But the goal in the spring game is to both just bring things to a close in this segment, have something that we share with our fans and our community, and then ultimately to get out injury free. I mean, it's there's something to be celebrated just in that too. So we'll be mindful of both, wanting to have a long enough exposure where we learn something about ourselves, where we're able to compete and we're able to grow within football situations that come up in a game, and then also making sure that we get out of the spring relatively healthy and able to launch into a summer that will deliver us to a really, really important fall camp. And so that'll be the spring game. It's exciting. I'm energized to get out there again. And I know the guys are energized to get out there again and compete with each other. And again, to share with our fans and our community and our families. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, Steve, go ahead.
Hey, Clark, you're talking about the process of getting into your identity and into growing leaders on your team. Is it all important this week, or as you hit the field for the scrimmage on Friday night and leave spring ball, to have some of those guys established? Do you have some of those guys established, or is that something that you think carries over into fall camp and even into your first season?
We have so much to learn about ourselves yet. I mean, it's just there are certainly people that are standing out from a willingness and a desire to be in those roles. There are guys that have sustained themselves through spring and continue to find ways to strengthen the team day in, day out, and that's not always performance driven, right? I mean, that to us is like kind of comes down to a choice each day to function, perform up to our standards in terms of how we do things, not necessarily, statistics driven or role driven, but just toughness driven. And so, there are guys that are separating in that respect, but until you've gone through a cycle, winter to spring to summer to fall camp, you want to find a level of consistency and approach that we just don't know enough about our team yet to know who those guys will be ultimately. But every day they're building towards those roles, and so eventually we'll name captains. That'll probably happen in fall camp. after we've gone through some of the harder, longer days, and see how these guys, both handle success and personal performance, handle failure and personal performance, and then handle the fatigue that's inevitable when you're in a training camp. We want to take as long as we can to just strip down all the facade and know authentically what each player is driven by. And at that point, we'll be able to maybe single out a few guys to lead this team. But ultimately, the goal of the program is to be player driven. Whether we can accomplish that in year one or not, is to be seen. But that means that everyone within this program takes on a leadership role in some capacity. And so, though we will identify captains, the expectation is that we're led in that locker room on a daily basis.
And as a bit of a follow to that, when I spoke to you probably a couple of months ago now, you spoke how excited you were about the quarterbacks in place and the people they are and the personalities and the talent that they have. More specifically with them, what have you seen from those guys, and how excited are you with that group now that you've had them on the field for 12 practices?
Well, between Mike, Ken, and Moose, the guys that have kind of taken the lion's share of the reps, and we have Jack in there too. All four have, they just they enjoy playing the game. They enjoy the spirit of competition. I've been pleased with that level of engagement. So, when I sit in on their meetings or when I'm talking to them, in the back during 7-on-7, just they are soaking up every rep and just looking for ways to improve themselves. I've had the chance, Coach Lynch has allowed for me to visit with those guys at times, just from a defensive perspective, to start teaching the game from that side of the ball. I'm not an offensive coach, but I can add to the fiber of the offense by bringing my perspective to things and hopefully help to accelerate their vision post snap, to eliminate some of the options in their progression based off what they're seeing in the defensive shell, that kind of stuff. But these guys are just, I feel like every day I'm going out and playing catch with my son in some ways. They have a youthful energy and spirit to them. They're still learning how to handle good throws and bad throws, good plays and bad plays that break down, how to hold their teammates accountable without showing them up. Those are lessons that quarterbacks have to learn. But all of them have a youthful energy to them that we can win with. We just have to keep honing in on the chemistry within the offense. So, how quarterback and receiver, react mid route, and how we deliver balls on time and in location that again allow the offense to stay in rhythm. Those are things that we'll build through the summer too.
Robbie, you have another?
Yeah. Clark, if you could get in a lab and build the perfect 18-year-old recruit to play your anchor position, what would that player look like?
It's a little unfair to say this, but we had one at Notre Dame that just finished his career there, Jeremiah Usin-Koromoa, who I think pretty much embodied kind of what that position entails. It's a truly a hybrid position where you have skills that and a physical presence that can blitz and can be used in the box, but you have coverage ability that allows you to get out there and play man on the slot with help, right? Post help or bracket help. That is a very unique skill set. And until you have that and it's been proven, you function more traditionally as a 4-3 or a nickeled out 4-2-5, right? Like you personnel it until you can get the those specific skill sets. But he's a good comparison just because he's a guy that we feel like over time we finally identified that skill set, and he was able to pretty much play every snap out there without needing to substitute. And at times, when we were injured or short on people, like he could play nickel for us in third down situations. So that's kind of like the model. Right now, we have it a little more by committee, and it's pulled from both second level bodies and safety bodies, DB bodies. But either way, it'll function, and we'll be. I mean, I'm excited with what Coach Mentor's doing over there. I think he's got a great plan. Kind of subbing those guys out by situation, and I've been impressed. So we'll keep honing in on that specific position, but yet until we know exactly what we have, we'll have ways to make sure we handle the field space with the right athlete.
All right, Michael, last one. Bring us home.
Hey, Coach, I just want to ask you real quick. I saw after Friday's practice, it looked like you got into the stands and just, a little meet and greet with some of the people that came out. Just wanted to ask you, why it's important for you to go that extra step and just thank the folks that came out.
Well, this is about community to us, and this is about rallying support for a program that I believe in, and I believe in these players. I mean, they are. I think once people get connected with this program, they're going to realize that this is a place where leadership within our country is born. This is a place where, I mean, these guys are gonna set the course for our world in the next generation. So to me, that's something we all should be behind. And when I see people coming out for a Friday evening scrimmage, we changed the time. We made it challenging in some ways to get there, just by nature of trying to beat the weather and all that kind of stuff. I just appreciated it, and I think I want this community to know their head coach here. I want them to know how important it is, that level of connectivity is to me. And I'm a Nashvilleian. I mean, I engage in this role with a perspective that the city of Nashville is important to Vanderbilt. It's important to Vanderbilt football, and I understand that people come from all over into this area. I want to deliver a product that they can get behind, and I want them to support these players because these players are important to the fabric of our community and our societies moving forward. And that starts with a willingness for me to get out and engage. And we just haven't had a chance to do that because of the pandemic. But as those opportunities present themselves, I don't want to sit back and just and let it happen. I want to make sure these people know the heartbeat of our program. They know me. They know our players. And that we give them something that they can believe in and support, and know that in supporting Vanderbilt football, you're growing the future leadership of our country. And I know that's a big statement, but that's how we view our program.